Welcome to Simply English, an educational channel.
Success roadmap.
And not just any roadmap.
Definitely not some rehashed self-help stuff.
Yeah, we've got
I've got this document
it's packed with insights.
all about building good habits
And at this, it uses stories.
of famous people,
People who actually walk the walk,
not just talking the talk.
Exactly.
We're talking Thomas Edison, Benjamin Franklin,
Oprah even.
like the real deal.
Yeah, what's really cool about this approach is it doesn't just tell you what to do.
Right.
It shows you how these habits actually played out.
Right. Like we get to see.
In the lives of these people who had achieved incredible things.
Like a behind-the-scenes look at success.
Yeah, and we can learn from the best.
Exactly. So, first up,
Okay.
this is something everyone talks about, but few master.
Tricky.
Goal setting. We all know Edison
Light bulb guy.
invented the light bulb,
Right.
but this document, it goes deeper.
It does.
It reveals how he actually structured his experiments.
Oh, interesting.
He was able to squeeze lessons from every failure.
So it wasn't just about being persistent, right?
It wasn't just persistence, it was a whole system.
Wow. The document talks about his notebooks.
Yep.
All those meticulous notebooks. He documented everything.
Every attempt.
What worked, what didn't work.
And why?
He was obsessed with analyzing those failures.
Not just like, oh, well, on to the next.
Right. There was a real intentionality there. You don't often see that in, your typical goal-setting advice.
Right. Okay, that's brilliant, but how do we actually API that Edison-level thinking to our own lives?
Right.
I mean, most of us aren't trying to invent the next big thing,
Yeah. The good thing is the document emphasizes that it's not about the scale of the goal. It's the mindset.
Okay.
So just like Edison broke down that complex problem, creating the light bulb into smaller, testable parts,
Yeah.
we can do the same with our goals.
Okay.
Break them into steps, manageable steps. And each one, gives you feedback.
Gotcha. So instead of, I want to write a novel, which sounds overwhelming, you break it down.
Right.
Like daily writing goals.
Daily goals, yeah.
Maybe even experiment with different genres.
Oh, yeah. Trying different styles as you go.
Exactly.
So each step becomes this little experiment,
Oh, I like that.
giving you data to refine your approach.
Makes it less intimidating, right?
Way less intimidating.
More about steady progress.
Steady progress, yeah.
I love that. Okay, so we've got our sights on the target, we've mapped out the steps, but how do we actually find the time to do it all?
Time.
Time, yeah. Cue the time management gurus.
Oh, yeah. This is where Benjamin Franklin comes in.
Old Ben Franklin.
Legendary daily schedule.
Right,
Yeah.
everyone knows. Early to bed, early to rise.
But the document goes beyond that.
Okay,
His structured day.
yeah.
It wasn't just about productivity. It was about, compartmentalizing his life
Oh,
to really excel in different areas.
it's incredible how he did it all. Writer, inventor, scientist, politician, and he still had a social life. It makes my color-coded calendar look pretty sad.
Right. So the key here is effective time management isn't about cramming more tasks in.
Right.
It's about designing a schedule that fits your values.
So what's important to you?
Right. And what you want to achieve. Like Franklin, he had specific hours for focused work, reading, socializing, even personal reflection.
Okay, but realistically, most of us don't have the luxury of planning our days down to the minute.
I hear you.
We've got deadlines, unexpected things popping up.
Oh, and procrastination.
Oh yeah, the dreaded procrastination always seems to throw a wrench in things.
Always. Well, that's where techniques come in.
Okay, like what?
Have you ever heard of the Eisenhower matrix?
Ooh, Eisenhower matrix. I've heard the name. It sounds a little intense.
Yeah, it sounds kind of military-ish.
Yeah.
More like strategy than a to-do list,
Right.
right?
That's
But it's
fair.
actually pretty simple.
Okay.
Imagine a grid. Okay.
Okay, got the grid.
For all your tasks.
Oh, all that.
One side is urgency, the other is importance.
Urgency and importance.
So you put each task into one of the quadrants.
So the things that are urgent and important, those obviously get done first.
Exactly. Top priority.
But what about the rest of them?
Okay, so the things that are important but not urgent.
Okay, important, not urgent.
Those are your long-term goals, personal development, the stuff you got to schedule in.
Okay, I see.
Now, the urgent but not important stuff,
Urgent, not important.
those you either delegate or find a way to streamline them.
Right.
And anything that's neither urgent nor important,
Neither urgent nor important.
trash it.
Oh, straight to the ignore pile.
Exactly. So it's not just a list anymore. It's like a decision-making tool.
That's brilliant. You're basically filtering your to-do list based on, like, what really matters.
What moves the needle, yeah. And this
Yeah.
goes back to what we were saying about Franklin. It's about choice.
Making conscious choices.
Aligning your actions with what you truly care about.
I like that. Okay, so we've set our goals. We've got a plan for our time. What's the next ingredient in this success recipe?
Well, the document highlights a habit that's really crucial in a world that's always changing.
Always changing.
Lifelong learning. Think of it as like the engine that keeps your mind sharp,
Sharp.
adaptable, ready for new opportunities.
New opportunities. You know, I've always admired Gandhi's dedication to constantly improving himself.
Gandhi, yeah.
It wasn't just about books and knowledge. He sought it out through experiences,
Oh, interesting.
talking to people, introspection. He was the original lifelong learner.
That's a great point. It's not just about formal education.
Right.
It's about staying curious, engaging with different perspectives,
Okay.
and constantly looking for ways to expand your knowledge and skills.
So reading books, taking online courses, workshops. Those are all good, but it sounds like it's also about being open, like learning from unexpected places.
Exactly.
Conversations, different background, even just paying attention to the world around us.
That's it. And this document actually challenges the way we usually think about expertise.
Oh, how so?
It says that in today's world, the most valuable skill isn't necessarily knowing a ton of stuff.
Right.
It's about being able to learn, unlearn, and relearn fast.
So it's not about being the encyclopedia.
Right.
It's about being the search engine. That's a great analogy.
I like that.
But how do we make this a habit? We're already so busy.
I hear you. The document actually recommends something pretty simple.
Okay, let's hear it.
Just 30 minutes a day,
30 minutes.
dedicated to reading or learning something new.
30 minutes, I could do that. But what if I don't even know where to start? There's just so much information out there.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. One suggestion is to pick something you're genuinely interested in, even if it's not what you usually focus on.
Okay, so like what? Give me an example.
Maybe learning a new language, or diving into a historical period that fascinates you. Even exploring some scientific concept you've always wondered about.
So it's less about checking things off a list
Yeah.
and more about feeding your curiosity.
Exactly.
Lifelong learning should be enjoyable.
It should be fun.
Not a chore. Okay, so we've got goals, we've got a plan for our time, and we're committed to expanding our minds. What's next on the path to success?
Next, we get into discipline and consistency.
Discipline, consistency. Ooh, the not so glamorous stuff.
Yeah, but absolutely essential if you want to turn dreams into reality.
Okay, and for this, our document turns to someone whose dedication was legendary.
Who are we talking about?
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe.
Everyone knows about his crazy 4 a.m. workouts.
Legendary work ethic.
Right. But I always wondered, was it just natural talent, or was there something more to it, like a deeper mindset?
Well, the document dives into the psychology behind it.
Oh, cool.
It highlights his belief in mastering the fundamentals, pushing his limits, embracing the grind. He wasn't just physically gifted, he was mentally disciplined too.
So it wasn't just about hitting the gym early. It was about approaching everything with that same intensity and focus.
Exactly. That's a key takeaway. Discipline is about showing up consistently,
Even when you don't feel like it.
especially when you don't feel like it.
Right. Let's be real, though. Most of us aren't aiming for NBA stardom. How do we translate that Kobe-level dedication to our everyday lives?
Good question. The document offers some really practical strategies.
Okay.
One is something we talked about before, creating a daily routine.
Oh, yeah. Routine.
Sticking to it as much as possible.
Structure.
It doesn't have to be as strict as Kobe's, but having a structure helps automate those good habits.
I've noticed that even something as simple as having a set time for waking up, exercising, getting my most important tasks done, it really sets the tone for the day.
Absolutely.
It's like less decision fatigue. You just build momentum.
Exactly. Another suggestion is using a habit tracker.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of those.
It sounds basic, but actually seeing those check marks add up can be really motivating.
I'm a very visual person, so I get that. It's
Yeah.
like a little mini celebration each time you check something off.
Exactly. But what about those days when we slip up?
Oh, yeah, those days.
Does one missed workout or skipped writing session mean we've failed completely?
It can feel like that sometimes.
Well, the document emphasizes that it's about progress, not perfection.
Correct.
Setbacks happen. They don't define you.
So it's less about beating ourselves up for messing up and more about acknowledging it, figuring out what we can learn, and just getting back on track.
Exactly. Discipline is about resilience
Getting back up when you stumble.
and keeping moving forward.
I love that. Okay, we've covered setting goals, managing our time, embracing lifelong learning, and cultivating discipline. That's a lot, T. But before we move on, there's something we haven't talked about. It's the foundation for all of this.
You're right. All these habits, all this talk about success, it means nothing if we're not taking care of the most important thing.
Our health.
Physical and mental well-being.
We've all felt that burnout, right?
Oh,
Pushing ourselves so hard that we end up exhausted and unproductive. The document actually quotes Steve Jobs here. He said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." He really understood how important it is to take care of yourself.
he did, and that's where things get personalized.
Okay.
This document doesn't say there's one right way to well-being. It encourages us to explore and find what works for us.
So for some people, it might be daily meditation. For others, it might be hitting the gym, spending time in nature, being creative, or just getting enough sleep.
Whatever recharges your batteries, and making it a non-negotiable.
Right, part of your routine.
We can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of our physical and mental health isn't selfish. It's the foundation for everything else we've talked about.
It's the foundation for a truly successful and fulfilling life. Okay, that's a great reminder. We've covered so much in this first part of our deep dive. We've explored how these habits all connect from setting goals to taking care of ourselves. But what happens when we hit roadblocks? Those inevitable setbacks, rejections, those moments when you just want to give up.
That's where resilience and a growth mindset come in.
Oh, this is getting good.
We'll explore that more in the next part of our deep dive.
I can't wait to unpack that. It's all about turning those challenges into opportunities for growth. See you in part 2.
See you there.
All right, welcome back. I'm excited to dig into the next part of this success roadmap. We've talked about setting goals, managing time, lifelong learning. But life isn't always smooth sailing. What happens when we hit those inevitable bumps in the road?
That's where resilience comes in. And this document, it uses a really inspiring example. J.K. Rowling and the journey of Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, Harry Potter.
You think, global phenomenon, instant success. But she faced so much rejection.
Before finding a publisher, right?
Rejection after rejection.
Yeah, that's always stuck with me. To have that much belief in your story, even when everyone seems to be saying no, that's incredible. The document talks about having a growth mindset. Is that basically what we're talking about here?
Exactly. It's not just about bouncing back from setbacks. It's about seeing those setbacks as chances to learn
Okay.
and to adapt. The document even cites research showing that people with this growth mindset, they actually seek out challenges.
Really?
They believe their abilities can be developed
Through effort.
through effort and learning.
So instead of thinking, I'm not good at this, you think, I'm going to get better at this.
Exactly.
That's a powerful shift. But how do you actually do that?
Yeah.
Especially when that self-doubt creeps in.
It's tough, for sure. The document gives some concrete strategies.
Okay, good, because I need those.
One is to really pay attention to how you talk to yourself.
Oh, that inner critic.
We can be so hard on ourselves.
The worst.
But replacing those negative thoughts, even if it feels forced at first, with positive statements, affirmations.
Affirmations.
It can actually change the way our brains work over time.
So you're basically training your inner voice to be your coach, not your critic.
Exactly.
I've tried that before, and it's amazing what a difference it makes, just in your energy and motivation.
It's huge. Another technique is to reframe those setbacks. See them as learning experiences.
Oh.
So instead of dwelling on what went wrong, you ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I do it differently next time?
Turn that failure into data. I like it.
Valuable data.
And this document also talks about the importance of your support system.
Oh, absolutely. Who you surround yourself with matters.
Yeah.
People who believe in you, encourage you, give you honest feedback,
Yeah.
that's invaluable. It's about building a network of support.
And accountability, too.
Accountability, for
So
sure.
like having your own personal board of advisors cheering you on and offering guidance. Okay, so we've built up our resilience. We're ready to tackle anything. What's the next piece of this puzzle?
Well, now it's time to talk about something that often gets overlooked. But it's really a cornerstone of success.
Okay.
Networking. Building relationships. And to illustrate this, the document turns to Dale Carnegie, author of How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh, that book's a classic. I remember reading that years ago.
It's all about connecting with people on a genuine level, right?
Right.
Carnegie understood that building those strong, authentic relationships, it's not about being manipulative or just being charming.
Okay.
It's about genuinely caring about other people.
Showing a real interest in their lives.
Yeah, and offering support.
I get that, but I think A lot of people, myself included, get intimidated by the whole networking thing. It feels forced.
I hear that, like everyone's just trying to get something.
Yeah, exactly. How do we get past that?
The document addresses that specifically. It says that genuine networking, it's not about collecting business cards.
Okay.
It's about relationships.
Relationships, not transactions.
Finding common ground, sharing ideas, helping each other out.
So it's less about what can this person do for me and more about how can I contribute to this conversation, to this relationship.
Exactly. And it gives some practical tips too.
Okay, like what?
One is to be proactive. Go to events. Join online communities. Reach out to people you admire.
So don't wait for opportunities to come to you. Go create them.
I like that. But what about those of us who are more introverted?
Yeah.
Does networking have to be this big extroverted thing?
Not at all. The document acknowledges that. Networking looks different for everyone.
Okay, good.
Find ways to connect that feel authentic to you.
Okay.
Maybe it's one-on-one coffee chats, maybe it's online discussions, or even just reaching out to someone whose work you admire. Just to say, hey, I like what you do.
Quality over quantity. A few meaningful connections are better than 1,000 surface-level ones.
For sure. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that's essential for success in any area of life.
Yeah.
But it often gets shrouded in mystery and jargon.
Uh-oh. What is it? Financial literacy.
Finances. One of those topics that can be so intimidating.
It can be, even for people who are really smart in other areas.
Yeah. This document uses Warren Buffett as an example.
Oh, Warren Buffett. He definitely knows a thing or two about money.
He's kind of a big deal.
The document highlights his belief in compound interest,
Okay.
which is basically this idea that your money can earn money.
Okay.
And then that earned money can earn even more money, like a snowball effect.
I'm intrigued, but I've got to admit, a lot of these financial concepts kind of go over my head.
It can be confusing.
I'm more of a spend what I need, save what's left kind of person. Is that enough?
Well, the document challenges that approach.
Yeah.
It says that being proactive with your finances, even if it's just small steps, can make a big difference. It's not just about being frugal. It's about making smart choices.
Okay.
Saving, investing, and managing debt.
So taking control of your financial future instead of just letting things happen.
Exactly.
But where do you even begin? There are so many options, it's overwhelming.
I hear you. The document breaks it down.
Okay, good.
First, it says to track your income and expenses.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Got to know where your money's going.
Yeah.
I actually tried that a few years ago, but I gave up.
It can be tedious.
It was too much.
Well, luckily, there are tons of apps now that can automate that.
Oh, really?
So you don't have to enter every single thing manually. You can even set up alerts for bill payments or when you're close to your spending limit.
That's much more appealing. So tracking, check. What else do they recommend?
Well, beyond budgeting, it says to save a portion of your income regularly, even if it's just a small amount.
Good
It's
one.
about building that habit.
I've always heard about the importance of an emergency fund
Yes.
Yeah.
Having that cushion is so important.
for unexpected expenses.
Exactly. But the document goes further. It encourages exploring investment options, too.
Okay, now that's where I get lost. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds. It's all Greek to me.
It can seem that way, but the key is to start learning. Even if it's just a little bit at a time. There are so many resources out there. Books, podcasts, online courses, financial advisors.
So it's more about becoming an informed consumer, not necessarily a financial expert.
Right. Empowering yourself to make good choices.
Choices that align with your goals. Okay, so we've talked about resilience, networking, even finances. Those are some heavy topics.
CR.
Let's switch gears now and talk about something a bit lighter, but just as important.
Okay, I'm ready for a lighter topic.
Gratitude and positivity.
Yes. The document highlights Oprah Winfrey here. She talks a lot about the power of gratitude in her life.
Oprah's amazing, but honestly, sometimes gratitude can feel a little cheesy, like count your blessings and all that.
I know what you mean, but this document, it goes deeper. It talks about research showing that gratitude can actually rewire our brains.
Really?
Less stress, better sleep, stronger relationships, even increased productivity.
Wow, so it's not just about feeling good. It actually has real benefits.
Real benefits. It's like this positive feedback loop. When you focus on what you're grateful for, it attracts more good things.
It's not about ignoring the challenges, right?
No, not at all. It's about choosing to focus on the positive.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal. But how do you make gratitude a habit? Especially when life gets tough.
One suggestion is keeping a gratitude journal.
Oh, like writing down things you're thankful for.
Exactly. Taking a few minutes each day to do that can really shift your mindset.
It's like training your brain to look for the good, even on those bad days.
Right. And another powerful practice is expressing your gratitude to others.
Okay.
A thank you note, a genuine compliment, just telling someone you appreciate them.
Little acts of kindness,
They go a long way.
spreading the love. Okay, I'm on board with gratitude.
Yeah.
What's the final piece of this success puzzle?
The document ends with a habit that brings everything full circle, giving back to society.
Oh, I love that.
It's about recognizing that true success goes beyond just your own achievements. It's about making a positive impact on the world.
It's using what you've gained to help others. The document actually highlights Mother Teresa here.
Her whole life was dedicated to serving others.
A true inspiration. So it's about shifting from a me focus to a we focus. But with our busy lives, how do we find the time to give back?
That's a common concern. The document emphasizes that it doesn't have to be a grand gesture.
Okay.
It can be simple things. Mentoring someone, supporting a local charity, volunteering your skills, even just small acts of kindness in your everyday life.
It's about taking action no matter how small.
Exactly. And it ties all the other habits together. You set goals, you manage your time, you learn new skills, you build resilience, you connect with others, and then you use all of that to contribute to something bigger than yourself.
It's like this beautiful cycle.
It is. We're all interconnected.
And our actions, no matter how small, can make a difference. Okay, we've covered so much, from personal growth to societal impact. But before we wrap up this part, I have one more question.
Yeah.
What about those of us who feel like we're already behind? Like it's too late to start building these habits?
That's a common feeling, and I'm glad you brought it up. The document actually addresses this.
It does.
And it uses a surprising example, Colonel Harlan Sanders.
Wait, Colonel Sanders, the KFC guy.
The one and only.
Didn't he start KFC when he was, like, really old?
He was 65 years old when he franchised his first Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant.
Wow. Talk about proof that it's never too late.
Never too late to pursue your dreams. This document emphasizes that we all have the power to choose growth and change at any point in our lives.
It's never too late to adopt new habits, cultivate new skills, create a better future.
Exactly.
That's such an empowering message. Age is just a number. Our potential is always there.
Waiting to be unlocked.
Okay, I love that. So what's the key? How do we start?
Start small, choose one habit and focus on that.
One habit at a time.
And be patient with yourself. Real change takes time and effort.
That's a great takeaway. So we've explored resilience, networking, financial literacy, gratitude, and giving back. Wow, that's a lot. Ready to tie it all together in our final part.
Absolutely. In part 3, we'll bring everything we've learned together and offer some concrete steps to incorporate these habits into your life. See you there.
Welcome back, everyone, for the final part of our deep dive. We've covered a ton of ground, from goal setting with Edison to financial planning with Buffett. Now, are we ready to take all those insights and turn them into, actual results?
Absolutely. This last part is all about putting knowledge into action.
Right, because it's not enough to just understand these habits. We have to actually, live them. It's like having all the ingredients for a delicious meal but no recipe. You just end up with a jumble of potential. So how does this document help us actually cook up some success?
Well, it emphasizes that real change, it takes time. It's a process, not some overnight transformation.
So no quick fixes.
No magic formulas. It's about making conscious choices, building a system.
A system that actually works for you.
That supports your growth.
Okay, that makes sense. But where do we even begin? We've talked about so much stuff.
Yeah.
Mindset shifts, practical techniques. It can feel kind of overwhelming.
It can be. The document recommends starting small, focusing on one habit at a time.
Okay.
Don't try to overhaul your whole life at once.
So not trying to be a time management master, A&D, a networking guru, and A&D, a financial whiz, all at the same time.
Right. Pick one area you want to improve and put your energy there.
So maybe, for example, I focus on building a consistent exercise routine
Exactly.
before I try tackling anything else.
Mastering one habit gives you momentum, confidence.
Makes it easier to move on to the next one.
It's like laying bricks. One by one, you build a strong foundation.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
But how do we choose which habit to start with?
Yeah. Is there a right order?
Is there a best one to start with?
The document doesn't say there's a specific sequence, but it suggests thinking about your goals right now
Okay.
and your challenges.
What's holding me back?
If you're feeling scattered and overwhelmed, maybe start with time management. or goal setting.
Okay, makes sense.
If you're feeling isolated, stuck in a rut, maybe focus on networking or lifelong learning.
So figure out where a positive change would make the biggest difference right now. Be strategic.
Exactly. And once you've picked your habit, break it down into smaller steps.
Okay.
Remember Edison and his experiments?
Oh, yeah. Break it down into those smaller, more manageable parts.
Same principle applies here.
So, say I'm trying to build a daily writing habit. Instead of aiming for 1,000 words right off the bat, maybe I start with just 10 minutes of writing each day.
Exactly. Make it achievable. Build consistency.
The key is to make it easy to fit into your routine.
Fit it into your life. Make it a part of your day.
Right. Makes it much less daunting. And those small wins, they really add up. But what about when we fall off track? How do we stay motivated, not get discouraged?
The document gives a few good reminders. First, be kind to yourself. Setbacks are going to happen.
They happen to everyone.
It doesn't mean you failed.
It's not the end of the world.
Acknowledge it, learn from it, and get back on track. No need to beat yourself up.
It's like having that coach, right? The one who pushes you, but also understands that you're human.
Exactly. And speaking of coaches, the document also talks about accountability.
Having someone to answer to.
Having a support system, a friend, a mentor, a group.
Or even just an app.
Even an app.
To track your progress.
It can make a big difference, having someone to keep you on track.
Yeah, like having a cheerleader in your corner, rooting for you. I've definitely experienced that, and it really does make the journey so much more enjoyable.
It does. And finally, remember that building good habits is a lifelong thing. It's not about reaching a finish line and then you're done.
It's not a one-time thing.
It's about constantly growing, adapting, getting better.
So it's not about achieving success and then checking a box. It's about the journey. The ups, the downs, the learning process.
Exactly. And approach it with curiosity, with a willingness to experiment. Remember that growth mindset.
Not about being perfect.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
That's a great way to put it. We've explored this roadmap for success, and it goes so much deeper than just surface-level advice. We've talked about the psychology behind habits, the importance of resilience and connection, and how our choices affect not just ourselves, but the world around us.
We've learned from some incredible people, from cutting-edge research, and we've turned it all into actionable steps you can use starting today.
The big takeaway here is that success isn't about luck or circumstance. It's about making conscious choices, building those good habits, and really embracing that journey of growth.
So as you go out there and work towards your own success, remember, be kind to yourself, celebrate your wins, learn from your setbacks, and never stop trying to be the best version of you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Until next time, keep those minds curious, and remember, your journey to success starts now.
Thanks for watching this video from Simply English, an educational channel for all ages and all stages. If you're new to this channel and enjoyed this video, please subscribe and press the like button. If you have any suggestions, please mention them in the comments section. Take care, and goodbye.